Alright, start na tayo. So, are you all ready to start? Okay, so before anything else, let me turn on my camera so that you could see me. Am I already visible?
Yeah.
Yes po, ma'am.
Okay, are you also seeing my screen right now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes po, ma'am.
Alright, so wait. Before anything else, let us start with a short prayer. So let me present our prayer.
Almighty God, you are the source of life. We thank you for all the blessings you have given to us. Thank you for giving us another day to learn something new. Clear our mind and help us focus. Guide us and our teacher as we study and create new learning experiences. We pray in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Alright, did you hear our prayer?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much. So now let us check our attendance. Is there any absent today?
No,
Who is
ma'am.
our class monitor? Okay, good to hear that no one is absent today. So anyway, I haven't introduced myself yet. Okay, for a minute. Jericho, can you please turn off your camera? Your microphone. I'm so sorry. All right, thank you. So good to hear that no one is absent today. Um, Let me first introduce myself. I am Alura Immarra Grace A. Baylon. You can call me Miss or Ma'am Alura, or you could call me by my surname Miss or Ma'am Alura, okay? Any of these two will do. So let me ask you first, how are you feeling today? Okay. Let me know. How are you doing?
Exhausted.
Again, Shanela, how are you feeling today? Can you please give me one adjective to describe the feeling that you're feeling right now?
Exhausted po.
Exhausted. Why is that? Hmm. How about the others? Are you
Doing
feeling
fine, ma'am.
well? You're doing fine, all right. How about Marisol and Jericho?
Tired.
You are tired. All right. Last one, Jericho.
I'm sleepy.
You're sleepy. So, that's what you are feeling right now. And I hope that in this class, you would feel enjoyed, you would feel excited, okay? Because we will do different activities and we will discuss a lot of topics that would interest you, all right? So now, let us proceed to the online classroom etiquette. In our face-to-face classes, there is what we call rules and regulations that we follow, all right? Of course, in online classes, we also have that, and it is called etiquette or like protocols. So, the first thing to do is to be on time. Why do we need to be always on time? Okay, because you might miss someone. I'm so sorry. You might miss something, or you might miss the ideas, the announcement that would be announced or that would be introduced here in our classes. So, for you to gain all those things, to be updated, always come on time in our class. All right? Is that clear? The first
Yes,
rule
ma'am.
is to always be on time. All right. Thank you. So the next one is mute yourself when others are speaking. It is rude to speak or to make any noise if someone else is speaking, right? So, to prevent distractions, always check your microphone rather, if it is muted. All right. However, if you have some concerns, if you have some questions, you could just type on the chat box first so that I will know. All right. Mute yourself when others are speaking. Next one is turn on your cameras so that you can be seen. It is better to talk if you are seeing that the people you are talking to, right? Because you are able to see their reactions, their behaviors towards the thing that is being talked about. Okay, same goes here in our online class. I encourage everyone to turn on your cameras so that I could see your pretty faces. Oh, I'm so sorry. So that I could see your pretty and handsome faces. To also check if you are still there or maybe you are already sleeping or doing a mukbang there in front of your device. So I could see you, okay? However, I am not requiring all of you to turn on your cameras because I know that our internet connection slows down when the cameras are turned on, okay? I am encouraging, however, not requiring. All right? Next one, dress appropriately. Of course, this is applicable only if you would turn on your camera. As you turn on your camera, show yourself presentably, all right? Do not wear spaghetti straps and most especially don't show yourself naked. Of course, that's disgusting. I'm so sorry. Um, wear decent clothes, all right? Because in school, you are wearing school uniform. Of course, in online classroom, be presentable. Next and the last is find a quiet place to keep focus. You could understand and learn better if you are in a quiet place. So if you are having an online class or especially my class, I want you to go to a place in your house where you find peace, where you are comfortable. All right? So, these are just few of the things that we must do, we must follow in order for our class to be organized and conducive. Okay, are you still there? All right. Are this etiquette clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you. So now let me present our learning competencies. Okay. Anyone who could read this? All the numbers. Okay, Russ, can you please read the learning competencies?
Okay, ma'am. Learning competencies. At the end of the lessons, the learners are expected to: number one, identify the geographic, linguistic, and ethnic dimensions of Philippine lit- literary history from pre-colonial colonial to the contemporary. Number two, identify representative texts and authors from each region. Number three, value the contributions of local writers to the development of the regional literary traditions. Number four, differentiate or compare and contrast the various 21st century literary genres and the ones from the earlier genres or periods, citing their elements, structures, and traditions.
All right. Thank you, Russ. Next is the most essential learning competency. Other other hands or other people? Miss Marisol, can you please read our
Okay.
most essential learning competency?
Sorry, ma'am. So, most essential learning competency. Writing a close analysis and critical interpretation of literary text and doing an adaptation of this required from the learner.
Are you alright?
Sorry, ma'am, my internet connection is buffering. Okay. Doing
Yeah,
an adaptation of this required from the learner the ability to identify.
I think Marisol's internet connection is unstable. Okay, so let me first admit our another student. Okay, welcome Mike to our class. So now these competencies are the things that we need to achieve at the end of the lesson, obviously. So this is our main focus for today's discussion. All right. So before we start our discussion, let me first ask you, what do you know about the different literary periods in Philippine literature? Anyone? What are your insights, your ideas about this, the literary periods in the Philippine literature?
Ma'am, me.
Okay, go ahead, Jericho.
For me, the Philippine literature, the different literary period in Philippine literatures includes the pre-colonial period, the Spanish colonial era, the American colonial era, and the contemporary period.
All right, that's it. You really have a good idea about these literary periods. Actually, you know it all. That's great. Okay, so let's now proceed to our motivational activity. Wait, my computer slows down. Okay, so now we will have our motivational activity. In this activity, anyone who can read this, your the directions. I'm so sorry. It is entitled Time of Your Life. Okay, Mike, can you please read the directions?
Complete the literary timeline by choosing your answers from the given choices.
Okay, thank you. As you can see, there are boxes here, and in each box there is there are years, and in each items there is a corresponding period, and you will choose your answer here from the given choices. For example, in the first number 1520, in year 1520, based on your prior knowledge, it is the period of activism. If you think so, then put letter I in number 1. Alright? So in choosing or in completing this literary timeline, I will give you 2 minutes. Is it alright?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So the timer will start now. In number 8, it's 1985, 1986 to 1999 ha. Okay. Let us see if you already have the ideas about the different literary periods. I guess some of the periods are already discussed in your junior high school, and I hope you are still remembering it.
I think, ma'am, the number one in 1520, it's gonna be pre-Spanish period.
All right, it's pre-Spanish period. Thank you for answering, but the timer is still ongoing. After the timer, then we will answer this motivational activity. All right? Thank you. It's okay. All right, time is up. So let us now check your answers. So in number 1, what do you think is the correct answer or the appropriate period in this year? Anyone?
Pre-Spanish period po.
All right, it's pre-Spanish period and it is letter E, which is Jericho's answer earlier. Wait. Next one. In 1521 to 1871, what period is that?
I think it's Spanish period po, letter G.
It's Spanish period, so let's see. All right, it's Spanish period. Next, anyone?
Period of enlightenment.
Number 3, it's period of enlightenment. Let's see. It's letter H. That's correct. Thank you, Ras. Next one. In 1898 to 1944, what period is that?
American period.
American period. So let's see the answer. It is letter D. Correct. Next. 1941 to 1945.
I
Japanese
think,
period.
I sorry po.
Who said Japanese period?
It's Rals po.
Or it's right. So let's check if it is correct. All right. Thank you, Raz. That's correct. Next, 1946 to 1970. What do you think is the answer? Is letter no one is answering.
Hey,
What?
period of third Philippine Republic.
Rebirth of freedom po.
Period of Third Philippine Republic. How about the other answer?
For me, it's letter D po. Rebirth of freedom.
D. Rebirth of freedom. So let's check if it is correct. Let's see what's the correct answer. It is letter B. Okay, Marisol is right. It is the rebirth of freedom. Next, in 1970 to 1972, it is the period of
Activism po, letter I.
activism. Let's see. All right, it's correct. Okay, next. 1981 to 1985.
Period of Third Republic. The Philippine Republic po.
Okay. Let's see if it is period of third. Yeah, that's correct. That's correct, Ras. Next, in 1986 to 1999, what is it?
Post-EDSA.
Post-EDSA. Let's see. That's correct, Marisol. And last one, it is very obvious.
The remaining one is the 21st century, so that's the answer.
All right, it's very obvious that 21st century is the answer because right now, or in the present times, we are already in the 21st century. All right. So now, our discussion will formally or finally start. Nowadays, the people or especially students are ICT inclined or more fond of using devices, gadgets, internet, and not of using books, reading literature like that. As they say, to appreciate literature is to look back. So for the students like you who are fond of or who are ICT inclined, for you to appreciate the literature, we are having a major throwback in this class right now. All right? So it is not only the literary periods that we will study, but of course, the geographic, linguistic, and ethnic dimensions of Philippine literary history from pre-colonial to the contemporary. All right. The first period in 1520 is the pre-Spanish period or also known as pre-colonial colonial period rather. So, don't you know that our forefathers, our ancestors before already had their literature which reflects their practices, their traditions. So they already have that. Also, they had an alphabet before they have even or they are even colonized. This alphabet is so-called Alibata, and now it is called Baybayin. Any anyone who is familiar with this Alibata or Baybayin? Is there anybody here who knows how to read and write Baybayin?
Si Marisol
Yeah.
po.
Okay, Marisol. Okay, that's good to hear that someone or, or that there is someone here who knows how to read and write Baybayin. So let's keep it up. Let's continue embracing our very own alphabet. All right? So Alibata before is written on the materials that quickly perishes or yung mabilis masira, mabulok, like the barks of trees, dried leaves, and bamboo cylinders. So those things which could not have remained firm even if you would put so much effort to save it, to keep it, or preserve it. Alright? So, in those things, alibata is written. Not in the paper, but in the leaves, in the trees, in those things. Alright? So, yeah, we have our own alphabet. And when the Spanish friars came, do you have any idea what did they do? So, they burned our alphabet in the belief in the belief that our alphabet are works of devil. Oh, they are so bad. They burned our very own alphabet. All right. In pre-Spanish period, the literature is characterized by five. So these are chant or bulong, legends, folktales, epic, and folk songs. So let us discuss it by one. The first pre-Spanish literature is chant or bulong. Okay, anyone who wants to read? Anyone?
Me, ma'am.
Okay, go ahead.
Chant, bulong. This was used in witchcraft or enchantment, especially in remote places in Visayas. Example, tabi-tabi po, nuno, makikiraan po.
Okay, thank you. Our ancestors used to believe that there are supernatural elements like dwarf, kapre, tikbalang. Do you also believe in that? Those supernatural elements are existing, especially in the
Hindi po.
province, in the Visayas. Okay. Shanela doesn't believe. Alright. But our ancestors believe that there are things like that. The reason why chant or bolong existed because this is used to ask for permission from those elements. Especially in the example, tabi-tabi po nuno, makikiraan po. So it is a permission or asking for permission from them so that bad things won't happen. Okay. Have you already said this line also? Tabi-tabi po nuno. Especially those boys who wants to pee, especially in the trees, near the trees or like that.
When I was a child,
Okay. You when you were still a child, you used to say this because
Me too,
something
ma'am.
bad might happen to you. Also, Ras, okay, it is familiar to you and it is called chant. All right. Next one is legends. Who wants to read?
ma'am,
Me po, ma'am.
Wait, Marisol first, then after the next number, Ras, okay? Okay, Marisol, go ahead.
legends. These are genres of folklore that consist of a narrative featuring human actions perceived or believed both by teller and listeners to have taken place within human history. For example, the story of Piña.
All right, thank you, Marisol. Legend stories are believed to be true, to be historical, but not always factual. These stories contains factual and fictional details, so they are combined. An example story of legend is the story of Piña. Is there anyone here who is familiar with this? The story of Piña tells us the history of the pineapple fruit. Why did it exist? So how did it exist? In the story of Piña, it may look like it is factual, it is true, believable, but it is actually not. So those stories are examples of legends. Historical but not factual. All right. Next, Rals,
Folk
folktales.
tales. The- These are made up of stories about life, adventure, love, horror, and humor, where our one can derive lessons. Example, the monkey and the turtle.
Okay, thank you, Rals. Folktales are stories that are passed down orally through generations. Um, when you were still a child, have you told a story that teaches us lesson? Or is this example, Monkey and the Turtle, familiar with you? Okay. This is an example story of folktale, which teaches us lesson. And what kind of lesson? This teaches us to not be selfish and greedy. Because in this story, the monkey and the turtle, as you can see in the picture, they are holding a tree. The monkey got the top part of the tree because he believed that it is malago and that he has the edge. He is it is better than the roots of the tree. However, when they planted it, the turtle had grown a tree, another tree, which is bigger than the monkeys. Okay, this teaches us that we must not be selfish or greedy. All right? Folk tales are having the purpose of teaching us lessons. This is passed down or orally passed, not just written, but verbally told to different people. All right. The next one is epic. Who wants to read? Epics. Shanela, can you please read the epics?
Epics. These are long narrative poems in which a series of heroic achievements or events, usually of a hero, are dealt with at length. Example, I'm sorry. Biyag nila.
All right. You're so happy, Shanela. Epic, okay, it is a long narrative which consists of stories of heroes, heroic deeds. An example of it is Biag ni Lamang. Okay, are you familiar with this? If you are not yet familiar, you could read this because you will learn a lot in this story. So, when we say epic, it is all about heroes. It is all about heroic deeds. All right. Next and the last literature in pre-Spanish is folk songs. So let me read it. Folk songs. These are one of the oldest forms of Philippine literature that emerged in the pre-Spanish period. These songs mirror the early forms of cultures, examples of which, okay, let me discuss it one by one a little later, okay? Folk songs express the culture of the Filipinos or the practices. Example here, the first is kundiman. Do you know kundiman? Not kundiman tayo, not that ha. Kundiman, a song used for courtship. Before, how do men court a girl? Court a girl rather. They sing in front of the window of a woman's house, right? Have you experienced that? To the girls here, have you already experienced this or
No.
no? Because
No
this
po.
was practiced. Oh yeah, because we have already our modern way of courtship. Okay. So, but before, kundiman is a song used to court a girl. A girl. Or example of this is Manang biday, ilukat mo man. Like that. Alright. Next is kumintang o tagumpay. It is a song being sung in every battles or war. Because before, battles or wars always occur in our country, right? So, an example of this kumintang o tagumpay is the, at I think it is latest. Ang awit ng kabataan. Are you familiar with that? It is a fight song. Okay? When we say kumintang o tagumpay, it is fight song. Next is dalit and imno. It is a praise and worship to God. Alright? Next is oyayi o hele. It is what we call lalabay for babies. Example is ugoy ng duyan. Are you familiar with that? Yung sana'y di magmaliw ang awit ay datig. I'm not familiar. I only know the tune but not the lyrics. But it is an example of a lullaby or oyayi o hele in Filipino. Next is Diana. It is a love song. And the last example is Soliraning and Talindao. This is a song of workers like farmers and fishermen. These are the an example of this is magtanim ay di biro, maghapong nakaupo. Are you familiar with that? So that song is an example of soliraning. and Talindao, a song for workers. All right. So these are the literature back in the pre-Spanish period. Before we proceed to the next period, what are the five characterizations of pre-Spanish period that we have discussed? Anyone? The five characterization.
Yes, ma'am.
Ras.
Number one, bulong, folk tales, legends, epics, and folk songs.
All right, you got it correctly. Thank you, Ras, because you have listened to what I have discussed. All right, so we are going to proceed with the Spanish period, which happened in 1521 to 1871. When the Spanish people colonized us, a lot of changes happened in our country, in our lifestyle, in our beliefs, in our education, in everything. The first Filipino alphabet, which is Alibata, right? I have discussed it earlier. Alibata was replaced by a Roman alphabet. Okay, this is a Roman alphabet. It is English alphabet. Actually, it is English narrative. All right. And this is also called Latin or Roman alphabet. The next, the beliefs and practices of Filipinos were influenced because the Spaniards imposed their beliefs, their practices, the religious practices on us, which are from the Doctrina Christiana, or in English it is Christian doctrine. So we became Christians. Our beliefs and practices have changed because of this imposition that the Spaniards made. All right? And another one, European legends and traditions brought here became assimilated in our songs, corridos, and moromoros. Those things that are being imparted on us um, becomes a part or are being used in the songs, the corridos, and moromoros that are the literature in the Spanish period. Next, in Spanish period, the folk songs continuously exist. Okay? Anyone who could read these folk songs? Okay, let me read it. It manifests the artistic feelings of the Filipinos and shows their innate appreciation for love and of beauty. The examples are Leron Leron Sinta, Pamulinawin, Dandansoy, Sarong Banggi, and Atikupong Singsing. Before or in pre-Spanish period, we discussed about folk songs, which consist of practices of Filipinos and cultures. Whereas in this Spanish period, the folk songs is mainly focused on love and beauty. An example is Leron Leron Sinta. Do you know that? No. Leron Leron Sinta, buko ng papaya. So this song is about a man named Leron and her sweetheart Neneng. This song revolves around the adventures of these two sweethearts as they pick fruits from trees and tamarind. Okay, another example of folk song is Atikupong Sing Sing. Do you know that? Atikupong Sing Sing. Yan. It is all about a woman who is who is looking for a missing ring that was given by her mother. And for those who would find it, or especially a man who would find that ring that was given to her by her mother, this girl would love that man, which is a prize to be given to that man who found the ring. Okay? These folk songs in Spanish period focuses on the love stories and beauty. Next, recreational place. Anyone who wants to read? Marsol, can you please read recreational
Okay, ma'am.
place? Ah, okay, go ahead, Raz.
Okay.
Recreational plays. There were many recreational plays performed by Filipinos during the Spanish times. Almost all of them were in a poetic form such senaculo, panunuluyan, salubong, embayoka, lagaylay, and zarzuela.
All right, thank you, Raz. Since Filipinos are taught Christianity, it really had a great impact on them, which led them to do recreational plays. And an example here, the one who carries a heavy cross is called Cenaculo. Cenaculo is a traditional Filipino Lenten play which depicts the sufferings, the death of Jesus Christ. Have you seen a cenaculo every Lenten season? Do you watch cenaculo? Okay, because this is already a tradition of Filipinos every time the Lenten season comes. Another one is panunuluyan. In this picture, it is all about Mary and Joseph who are looking for a house or a place where they could stay because Mary is about to give birth to Jesus Christ. So this is also a traditional play in the Spanish period. Cenaculo and do you call this panunuluyan. Alright, so that's all for Spanish period. Alright, is anything clear? Is everything clear? Are you still
Yes,
there?
ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Alright, good to know. And please don't sleep yet, right? Because there is still one period that we are going to discuss, which is the period of enlightenment in 1872 to 1898. Okay. In the 19th century, Filipino intellectuals educated in Europe are called ilustrados. So these ilustrados are Jose Rizal, Marcelo del Pilar, Graciano Lopezaina, Antonio Luna, Mariano Ponce, Jose Maria Panganiban, and Pedro Paterno. So these ilustrados, because they are educated, they have um, they have the ability to um, think of the problems, the hitch of the colonization that happens in the Philippines. So they have thought of those problems, those issues in the society. So they made a propaganda movement. And what is a propaganda movement? It is a campaign for political and social freedom, which was spearheaded. So the leader of the propaganda movement was Jose Rizal. So these people are intellectual and in the middle class. All right. So they are called ilustrados. Next, we are going to discuss about the three people, Rizal, Lopezaina, and Marcelo del Pilar. We will take a look of their writings. Just a short explanations or brief explanation of their writings. First is Jose Rizal's writings. Can you please read all the written works of literary of Rizal? I'm so sorry.
Ma'am,
Marisol.
Rizal's writings. No limitangere el filibusterismo, ni último adios sobre la indolencia de los Filipinos de 18 años.
Alright, thank you Marisol. Most people wonder why is it important to study the Rizal's life. Especially nowadays, we are still learning, studying about the Rizal's works, life, no? Because it is through his writings that he revealed how cruel, how abusive the Spaniards were. No? The way they treated Filipinos before. So he also enlightened the Filipinos, his fellow countrymen, to take up arms and to stand up for their rights. So these writings are very important to study because it shows the situation in the Spanish period. All right. Next is Del Pilar. Anyone who could read Del Pilar's writings? Jericho, can you read? Anyone?
Me
All
po.
right,
Ako
let
na
me
lang po.
ask. Who wants to read? Okay, go ahead, Shanela.
Del Pilar's writings, Pag-ibig sa tinubuang lupa, Love of Country, Ka- Kaingat kayo, Kaingat kayo, Be careful, Dasalan at tuksohan, Prayers and jokes.
Okay, so these are Del Pilar's writing. Marcelo Del Pilar, or his pseudonym, Plaridel, is the chosen patron saint of today's journalists because of his life and works that prized freedom of thought and opinion most highly, loving, loving independence above any material gain. In these writings of Del Pilar, it consists of his ideology, his truthfulness, his fairness, and impartiality that is anchored on democratic principles. It is also important for us to study about Del Pilar's writings because in these writings includes his thoughts or his ways of how are we going to be free from the colonizers, especially the Spanish or the Spaniards. All right, these are Del Pilar's writings, and I hope that you would have a time to read some of his works. Next is Haina's writings. Luciano Lopezaina. Okay, let me read it. Ang Fray Botod, Laiha del Fraile, sa mga Filipino, everything is hambog. Sa mga Filipino, again, talumpating pagunita kay Columbus. You know, Graciano Lopezaina also helped Filipinos to spur this revolution with his ways, with his variety of literary works that helped create the need and the desire for independence or for freedom. Last last June 12, we celebrated Independence Day. And these heroes like Jose Rizal del Pilar, the Pesaina, have really put a lot of effort for our country to be independent, to, to be freed from colonizers. Okay? Haina, along with the two other propagandists, are instrumental for their works with the Filipino people. All right. So that's it. That's all for the period of enlightenment, which we have discussed the different Filipinos or the ilustrados. Okay. So, are there any clarifications? Is everything clear? Any questions
None
about our
po.
discussion?
Yan po.
None. Okay, are you sure? Okay. I'm going to flash all the previous presentations or the works of Jose Rizal's, Del Pilar, and Jaina. Wait, I will give you time to look back to these writings. Alright, these are Rizal's writings, Nalimitangire and such. Next, Del Pilar's writings. Take a look because we will have an activity about this. Alright, next and the last, Haina's writings. Alright, for our activity, since you all have understand our discussion, we will now have an activity in which we will identify the author of the following literary pieces written by the Ilustrados. So, all you have to do in this activity is to write the letter of your correct answer. Is my instruction clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you still
Yes
there?
po.
Okay. So, in this activity, I will give you 2 minutes again. Alright? So, let's start. 2 minutes to answer this. Fifty more seconds. Alright, time is up. So now, I will give all the answers and let's see if you got the correct answers. Alright. Okay, so these are the correct answers. Wait, let me remove this. Alright, in number 1, sa mga Filipino, it is written by Graciano Lopezina. In Mi Ultimo Adios, who is the author of this? Obviously, it is Jose Rizal. So these are the answers. Anyone who got the perfect answers, perfect scores rather, who got the perfect score of 10? No one? Is it difficult? Alright, I think you are already hungry or not in the mood. So now, let us have this generalization before I give you your assignment. So, let us recall, in the pre-Spanish period, there are characterizations which are legends, folk tales, epic age, the epics, and folk songs. In Spanish period, Alibata was replaced by the Roman alphabet. The Christian doctrine became the basis of religious practices of Filipinos. And lastly, European legends and traditions brought here became assimilated in our songs, corridos, and moromoros. Last period is a period of enlightenment. The propaganda movement was spearheaded by the intellectuals such as Jose Rizal, Marcelo del Pilar, Garciano Lopezina, Antonio Luna, Mariano Ponce, Jose Maria Panganiban, and Pedro Paterno. So these people contributed for the freedom, independence of the Filipinos. So now, we are having our assignment which will be submitted ne- next meeting through Google Classroom. Alright, you will send it to me or you will submit it in Google Classroom. So, our assignment would be, as a grade 11 Filipino learner, in what way can you show a sense of adaptability to the diverse Philippines literary history? So you will state your answer in a 3 to 5 paragraph essay. Alright? Is it clear?
Yes po, ma'am.
Hello? Alright, so now let me call it a day. Thank you for listening and participating in our class today. Okay?
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you so much.
Thank you po, ma'am.
Thank you
Thank
po.
you. Okay, goodbye.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye po.